Welcome, everybody. We're going to start the November 13th Wilson County Commissioners Court. And for the minutes, let it reflect that we have a full quorum. Before we do that, we're going to ask Commissioner Martin to lead us in a prayer, and then we're going to have the Pledge of Allegiance.
If you'll bow your heads and we'll observe a moment of silence for our veterans that have served our country, and I'll close us in prayer. Heavenly Father, we're honored to be in your presence today. And Lord, today we want to thank you for the men and women that have served our country. They've gone to defend our nation and our values, and many of them have sacrificed their lives in doing so. Lord, we just ask that you bless all those that have served our country. And Father, we thank you for the rain that you have sent to us. And Father, just help this court today to do things in the best interest of this county. And Lord, we thank you for everyone that's present here today. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, one and indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
We move to agenda item number 3. Do we have any public comments? No public comments. Agenda item number 4 are certificates of completion and awards. We have none. All right. Agenda item number 5, we have extension activity reports. I think first will be from Allison, if she's not here. Okay, we'll give you time to look that over, Commissioners. And the next one's with Nicole. All right, Commissioners, we're going to move to agenda item number 7. We have Ms. Nikki Storr, our Library Director. I'm sorry, did we skip one?
Yep. 6.
I had a circle around it.
I didn't mean to skip it, sir.
All right. Okay, so we moved to agenda item number 6. Commissioner Martin, recognized Floresville High School band. Do we have
Thank
some
you, Judge.
representatives here?
Yes. Mr. Kathy, would you and your group come forward? Y'all all come over here. So I don't know how many of y'all are aware, but this is actually the second year in a row, thanks to COVID, that Mr. Kathy and the Floresville High School Band has made it to the state playoff competitions. And actually, because of COVID, they're going to get to give it another shot again next year. So Mr. Kathy's responsible for 150 students that are in the band, and they've done an outstanding job. And I'm gonna embarrass Mr. Kathy and myself.
Come on up here. Come on up here.
But when When I was on the school board, I actually hired him as one of our band directors, what, about 25 years ago now?
Yes, sir. It's February of 1998.
Okay, so I've known Mr. Kathy a long time, and I know last year when they made state, they were all very excited, as I'm sure they were again this year. And they've done very well. I want to tell y'all that, in my opinion, y'all's performance was well above and beyond of what it took to get to state. And I thank you for your dedication. I know many of y'all have been in the band, started in junior high, what have you. But Mr. Kathy, would you introduce the students we have here today and your staff?
Absolutely, and thank you for having us, Commissioners. I appreciate that. I will also say, Mr. Martin, when I was hired in February of 1998, I was just supposed to fill out the year with the expectation that probably wasn't going to be invited back. And here we are, year 26. I've been here ever since, and thank you for hiring me, Mr. Martin. I'll start with the students here at the front. These are our student representatives. Immediately to my left is our senior drum major. This is Madison Lawhead. And next to her is our band president, Jody Garcia. And next to her is our band vice president, Elena Merced. And then to her left is our other senior drum major, Hannah Randolph. Behind me, to our right, that is Mr. McCardle, our percussion teacher. You've been with us 14 years? Yeah. Immediately next to him is Jacob Martin, one of our middle school teachers who also does our color guard. And next to him is Judith Belmares, our other middle school assistant. Judith is also a graduate of Floresville High School and was in the Mighty Tiger Band all through her high school years. Behind her is our assistant director at the high school, Aaron Beaver, who has been with us 6 years. And I'm sure you might recognize the person next to him is another graduate of Floresville High School, our middle school head director, who was also in the Mighty Tiger Band, John Villafranco.
Yeah, and the other interesting thing about this year's performance is this was truly an all-Floresville event. Number one, Manuel Maldonado wrote their, I don't know, what do you call it?
He wrote the music.
Wrote the music and the performance.
And he was also our show coordinator, so he designed everything you saw on the field.
Yeah. And he graduated in 99, 98.
He actually, I think he was 97. I never actually taught Manny.
Okay, yeah. And then Jeremy Spicer, who was also a former Mighty Tiger Band member, was one of the he works for UIL, as one of the commentators that were there. So, and I can tell you when the band finished their performance, our applause was the loudest. We had a lot of people there at the performance, and I witnessed your performance, and I was just amazed at how well y'all did. So
Thank you, sir.
Thank you all for a job well done, especially you students, you band leaders. You let everybody know that that we're extremely proud and happy for them. Yeah, and thank you for everything that you've done. We know that you spend a lot of hours there. You've got summer band sectionals, before school, after school, during school. And y'all spend a lot of time and effort to do that. So we wish you all the best of continued luck, and we thank you for everything that you did.
Thank you.
You want to get a picture with them up here? Let's do
Yep.
that. Y'all come on over here.
Oh, certainly. I would like to make one other introduction. It's actually Elena's mom, but this is Juvie Merced. She is our band booster president, and her husband, Jorge.
Our normal thing, go over here.
You'll make pancakes at 3 in the morning. You can...
Take a step forward and let us scoot together a little bit. Here, you come in the front, man.
Well, thank you.
We good, Greg?
Okay. Ma'am, could you move to your, well, that's all right. I was gonna say the other direction, but, well, now move back to where you just moved. There you go. All right. Let's see, do I see everybody's head? Mr. Judge? Yep. That's it, okay. All right, sir with the beard, move to your left a little bit. Okay, good. Now I see everybody's head. Count of 3. 1, 2, 3. You take one more for insurance. Could you move that big chair
make sure I'm back on track again. Now we move to agenda item number 7. We have Nikki Storr, our library director. Discuss and take action for the public libraries of Wilson County using certified payments for collection of fines and fees. Ms. Storr, you have the floor.
Good morning. I may have asked for this a little bit too early. The library is at a point where we need to change the way we accept debit and credit cards. We had been using PayPal, and we were the only ones in the county using PayPal. But PayPal are changing their rules, and they have cut us off from accepting credit cards or debit cards at the library. So I looked into what the county is currently using, and the company we currently use is called Certified Payments. But they charge 2.19% or a minimum of $2. Well, we have a lot of people come in to print a page, which we ask 25 cents. So I think I need to go look for another company that doesn't charge the minimum $2, because I hate to ask $2 for a single piece of paper. So I would like to ask to table this until a later date.
Okay, we can do that.
Is that okay with
I'll
you?
make a motion to table the Wilson County Libraries using certified payments for collection of fines and fees till additional information is available.
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, seconded by Commissioner Aiken. Is there any other discussion on tabling agenda item number 7? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against, the ayes have it, motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 8, we have Sheriff Jim Stewart discuss and take action on approval interlocal fire and EMS dispatch services agreement. Sheriff, you have the floor.
I believe you have a copy of that in your deal, do you not?
No, we don't.
You don't? Okay. You have one copy. Basically, this is an interlocal agreement for me to provide service to the ESDs, and they are going to supplement pay for the dispatchers in order to make it more affordable for the county to provide that service. And also maybe to make it a little bit better as far as us being able to get more qualified candidates to come in and apply for the position. Can I see that just a second?
Yeah. And remind me on ESD2 right quick, Sheriff, why we have that struck.
That's what I was gonna ask. I wanted to see it was lying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll explain to.
Friday, I got a phone call from ESD2. This is on their agenda for tonight. And I said, okay, the one we were fixing to approve would nix them, and then I'd have to come back with a completely new agreement for one. I would like to see us go ahead and approve the interlocal agreement, and I will get a new one signed. If they pass that tonight at their board meeting, then we can get a signature from every one of them and do it all in one document.
The chief's here.
Yeah. Chief Lopez is back there.
Yes, and
Chief, do you see any issues tonight with that?
I do not, of course, I don't want to guarantee.
Right. No, understood.
It looks like, yeah, more than likely, in contact with my board, we've got an agenda to get it voted on.
Okay.
Sheriff, is that the agreement for an annual payment that we budgeted for? You and I budgeted for, is that the same thing that is?
I think this is more for the stipend, correct? That we agreed to, yes.
But you and I budgeted for it?
Yes, we did.
Right,
Yes,
okay.
we did.
I just wanted to make sure.
Yes, we
were
did.
talking about the same thing.
Yes.
So are we going to have to come back with another agreement if the chief gets his approved, or do you want to wait?
I believe you can vote on just the interlocal agreement in general, and then I can go get it, a fresh one signed with all new, and we'll bring it back to you for signature. All we gotta do is need them permission to let you sign that.
If the motion has that it as
Yeah,
a part of the
contingent upon
terms.
ESD2's approval.
Yes.
So someone's going to have to amend that motion.
Yeah. Sheriff, isn't this a dedicated position to dispatch for the ESDs, basically?
That's the way we originally started out with it, but, well, I guess, yes, we're gonna basically try to open a third dispatch station. when manpower permits. We do it now when we have the manpower, but we need a few more vacancies filled in order to be able to do it 24/7.
Is there a qualification for that? What he's asking right there about opening that third position?
Is there a qualification?
No, I mean, it's just,
Dispatch is dispatch, or do they need to do anything with EMS or know anything on that side of that?
No, we are going to train everybody in dispatch to fulfill any and all of the stations. I want all of them cross-trained. Yes,
Questions asked?
yes.
yes.
Which is one of the reasons we should be able to go active on PowerPhone here sometime, hopefully early December. And that's going to help improve our ability to train for all aspects of dispatch.
In the old days, there was a flip chart called the Clausen cards that they could go through to be able to render aid ahead of EMS and
Yes,
fire showing.
and now we have a software that actually
there's
does that
computer
flip down
screen.
for you, yes.
But the more trained, the better
Yes.
off they're able to handle the emergency.
Yes. And I also think this will make dispatch a little more uniform across the board because they will all be looking at the same set of guidelines.
Sheriff, will this be billed through will the county treasurer be billing for that annually, or?
It's up to you. The way I do it now, if I bill them annually through my office, like I do for the Spillman and Flex, that's fine with me. We can continue to do that.
Okay, so this is gonna be in addition to that, just so that we know what to expect to come through, so
Yes.
you're, okay.
And I will get back with you because that's some of the details that we haven't worked out yet about how we're going to build this.
Okay.
I will get that worked out with them, and I'll come back and line it out with y'all.
Okay, thank you. Judge, what is the dollar amount on it? Does it say?
I don't have a dollar amount on it. Hold on. Maybe I do. Hold on. Are you talking about for salaries?
I think it's an annual amount, right, Sheriff?
Actually, that's one of the things we've
Not on
been
here.
discussing, is that I believe it's going to be per dispatcher a set amount.
No, there's nothing. Want to take a look?
Well, I just want to make sure that we do the billing correct on our end.
I want to, Ms. Boots, are you okay with that?
As long as we make sure that it goes out properly and we're receiving payment. A lot of times in confusion, they'll send it this way.
Yeah.
It is easier, to be honest with you, if it just gets filled out of our office, so they know where to send payment to.
Okay.
But if someone stays on top of it and we're able to get those, funds quickly, I'm good with that.
Okay.
They can control that.
Sheriff, is it gonna be billed evenly across the board, or is it gonna be one district pays more than the other?
No, it will be billed equally. And I don't believe there's any actual finance in that ILA. I think that's just an agreement for us to do that.
Well, it says ESD's agreed to provide funding for 2 12-hour dispatch positions, as well as an incentive pay of up to $2 per hour, separate from the county salary for existing dispatchers in the amount not to exceed $25,000. Payments to the Wilson County Sheriff's Office will be monthly. So,
So this is covering two spots, two dispatchers.
so you guys are gonna do all the billing,
Yeah.
sure? We don't.
And like I said, we can work that out. Whatever way works best for y'all, I'm good with it either way.
And so if you wanna work out the billing, but make sure that payment is sent to us, so then it's not lost in translation or delay, then we can
Okay.
allow that to.
By doing it monthly, it'll make it even better because we set it up and they know they've got a certain amount they pay every month. So it'll probably be easier that way anyway. Okay.
Yeah. I like that.
All right, Commissioners, I'll entertain a motion with a little expanded language on that besides what's on the agenda item.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the interlocal agreement between fire and EMS dispatch services with the sheriff's office and contingent upon ESD2 approving their participation this evening.
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, seconded by Commissioner King. Is there any other discussion on agenda item number 8?
In the event, and I'm just saying, we don't know how the board's gonna be, but if they opt out, how are you gonna address it?
If they opt out, I guess I'll come back with the one that you're sitting looking at right now.
Okay,
And we'll just come back and do the one that has them opted out, which would have been what we was going to approve today.
Why would they want to opt out?
and
I don't believe they will.
believe that
I don't believe they
either. I'm
will,
just-
but
We've got that little
Okay.
gray area at this point in time.
yes.
so.
No, I'd have to re-entertain it as it sits right now.
Any other discussions, Commissioners? Hear none, call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against? Ayes have it, the motion passes. We move to agenda item number 9. We have Ernie Gonzalez, EMC Strategy Group LLC, discuss take action on the professional services that EMC Strategy Group LLC provides to support economic development and grant support services through governmental relations and external affairs.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to present for you, before you today. There's a PowerPoint presentation that I've got up on the screen, and you may have a copy of it. My name is Ernie Gonzalez. I'm the president and CEO for EMC Strategy Group. Right behind me is Janice Gonzalez. She's the owner and founder of EMC Strategy Group. And wanted to talk to you today about the type of services that our firm provides to our clients. Next slide, please. So EMC, what it is, it's a family business, and the 3 letters in the family are Ernie, Mitch, and Christiana. Those are our 3 kids. We've been in business for since 2015, and we are a woman-owned business and veteran-led. I served honorably in the United States Marine Corps, and both Janice and I are registered lobbyists through the state and federal government. We are registered as a firm through the Texas Secretary of State's office, through the Texas Ethics Commission and the United States Congress. We also focus on government relations and external affairs. So in short, we're a lobbying firm, and we represent our clients in Austin and Washington, D.C. We also provide a lot of grant development services. So as we identify the priorities for our clients, we match up funding opportunities and try to pair those up with the priorities here within the county. And when it comes to grant development services, not only do we research, we provide the technical assistance, we develop a project, and then we submit on behalf of the client. We also focus on economic development services to support an EDC or economic development corporations by providing training and also connecting the public and private sectors together. Our current clients include the cities of Castroville, Charlotte, Lytle, Pearsall, Pleasanton, Castroville Economic Development Corporations, Floresville Economic Development Corporation, Pleasanton Economic Development Corporation, Schneider Electric, Maverick County Hospital, and also the Santa Teresa Children Day and Night Clinic. We also represent Walmart and AT&T. Next slide, please. So in our lobbying, we advocate. We, again, find out what the priorities are, and then we take those priorities to Austin and Washington on behalf of our clients. We provide government affairs at all levels, whether it's working with the ACOG or the state legislature or the federal legislature and the bureaucratic agencies. Whenever we work on behalf of a client, we work in a bipartisan fashion, which means, in short, we represent our clients impartially, and whether we're working with Democrats or Republicans, to us, the end game is sticking to the mission and addressing what the priorities are. We focus on infrastructure projects, public safety, quality of life, transportation, economic development, strategic planning, and healthcare. So I'm assuming that most of those things that I just mentioned are things that that impact your precincts and your constituents. The other thing that we focus on is distinguishing our firm from other firms. So there are government relations firms that only work on government relations. And when you take it a step down, there are firms that only focus on Washington or Austin. We do both. The other thing is that there are some firms that only focus on grant writing. We are well beyond just a grant writing firm, because that's not just what we do. We consider ourselves a sole source firm, a one-stop shop, where you come up with a priority that you get from your constituents, we identify the funding, we apply for the funding, and then we advocate on the back end. and we've been very successful in that. We focus a lot of our efforts on rural communities, as you heard from the client list that we've got. And then we also connect government relations and economic development together. So whenever we do something that's involved in economic development, there's a lot of funding opportunities that exist at the state or federal level. And so economic development and government relations go hand in hand. We also make sure that we promote and sell the story of our client. So a lot of times the constituents, they don't know all the good things that you at the county level are doing. And so sometimes it's the best kept secret. So as we identify a project that needs to have awareness to it, we help make sure that we get the message out to promote whatever project you're working on, especially as we try to get funding for a project. And then we also, wherever possible, work with collaborative efforts. And I think that our current client across the street, the Floresville Economic Development Corporation and its president, they've done a really good job of working with the county judge, making sure that whenever we can, we collaborate. And an example of that is in the next few weeks, we're going to be taking a trip up to Washington, D.C., and it'll be the EDC is leading the effort, but we're working with the county judge and making sure that the county is represented, and also with the city, and the city will be represented. So that is an example of us working in a collaborative partnership to advocate for multiple causes. Next slide, please. So again, this is a snapshot of our current clients in the public and private sector. You know, when we first started our firm back in 2015, our first client was the city of Freer. And right after that, it was San Diego, Texas, and Falfurrias, and then it snowballed from there. We're very pleased that at this moment in our careers in our company, we've been able to attract clients based on word of mouth or reputation, and we stand by that. You look at the diagram there, I'm sure many of you are familiar with some of those entities. We're very pleased to have done work with all those groups. And you know, we've built, I think, something based on reputation and always following up on what we said we were going to do. Next slide. So we tailor our services specifically to our client. What may be important for one county may not be the same for the other county and the cities that we represent. So we engage our clients. In this case, we would engage with the county judge and the commissioner's court, get the feedback from what is important to your constituents within your precinct, and then try to tie all those priorities together and work on rather than doing a shotgun approach, maybe a sniper shot approach, so that we're able to hone in on what the specific needs are within your precincts. That could be roads, it could be healthcare, it could be veteran services. Whatever it is that impacts your clients or your constituents is what we want to address. And again, as I mentioned before, we work at the state and federal level, collaborate, tie public and private partners together, and then at the end is focusing on economic development. Next slide, please. So our collaborative partners include the Alamo Area Council of Governments. You know, there's just been a recent change in leadership there, so we are in tune with what's going on there. The regional cities, county school district colleges, universities, trade schools, and so forth, state and federal agencies, and then our legislative delegations at the state or federal level. So whether we're working with Ryan Guillen or your state senator or Congressman Monica de la Cruz, we've established those relationships early on in our careers that help us cut through the red tape and navigate around the bureaucracy. Next slide. So some of the basic food groups that we work on, I like to call it the food groups because it's things that you all deal with on a day-to-day basis. Infrastructure. And as the county grows, your infrastructure is going to be challenged. We know that the county is growing because the distance between Bexar County and Wilson County is shrinking because there's just more people moving to the area. And so infrastructure is challenged. Quality of life is important because that has to do with parks and recreation and making sure that your constituents have something to do and have those amenities. Public safety, you know, your sheriff's department, I'm sure, is getting busier with the influx of the growth in population. Transportation along the highways is challenged because there's more traffic. Special projects, so as something comes up that's a priority that maybe wasn't a priority before, as an example, COVID-19. Nobody expected the pandemic, but you all had to pivot realign and deal with the situation. And then certainly economic development is a big one because that is a driver in the economy locally. It helps you create jobs, and you need to make sure that your workforce in the county is prepared to bring on those high-paying jobs rather than just focusing on a bunch of retail stuff. We want maybe some manufacturing jobs or some jobs that are going to pay a competitive wage. Next slide. So our federal partners include from the Department of Agriculture, DOJ, Department of the Treasury, all the way down to FEMA and dealing with the Veterans Administration. In fact, when we go up to DC on the week of the 4th, we're going to spend 2 days visiting with federal agencies and 2 days on the Hill. The federal agencies will be tied to specific priorities within the region that may include the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, the Department of Justice, the Environmental Protection Agency, the USDA, because they've got such a vast amount of resources, and then also the Veterans Administration. Next slide. Our state partners include the Office of the Governor, and then the Economic Development element of the Governor's Office, the Criminal Justice Division, Texas Parks and Wildlife, Texas Department of Agriculture. So I'm sure that most of you, because of your elective office, are very familiar with most of these agencies, if not all. So as a firm, we help to serve as an extension to the Commissioner's Court to deal with any issue that's related to either these state or federal agencies. Next slide. So our recent successes we're very proud of our hard work. Just the last week, we received 2 COPS grants through the Department of Justice. One was for $250,000, and the other one was for $187,000. I want to point out that the city of Pearsall contracted us last January, and we've already secured over $500,000 for them since January. And we're not even on we're on month 11, not even a complete year, and we've already got them $500,000. Other programs that we're working on are projects. We've got a $4.3 million project across the street with the Floresville Economic Development Corporation that we've secured through a community project funding request. And you'll see the other accomplishments there, and you've got a copy of those. But we've been very successful in using our experience, our background, and our know-how in working with state and federal agencies to make sure that our clients have secured these projects and these funding for the projects. Next slide. So our advocacy in Washington, D.C., again, I mentioned bipartisan. You'll see there Senator Ted Cruz, Congressman Tony Gonzalez, and Monica de la Cruz and Congressman Henry Cuellar. So again, we don't see R or D. We see what is the main priority for Wilson County and your precinct. And then we'll work with whomever is in office to make sure that that gets done and advocate and knock on those doors on your behalf. Next slide. Same thing at the state level. Working with Senator Peter Flores, Roland Gutierrez, Ryan Guillen, or whomever, we need to work with at the state level. We will do the same thing, advocate on behalf of your precinct and your county. Next slide. So we believe very strongly in making sure that we're accountable for the work that we've been hired to do. So we communicate on a regular basis with our clients. In fact, I think Judge Whitman can confirm with David Del Bosque at the FEDC that we communicate with the FEDC about every other day or as needed. Because we're registered through the state as lobbyists, we have to file our Texas Ethics Commission reports every month, and then also with the United States Congress. Next slide. So I'd like to break up this slide into experience, benefits, and the next step. So we've got proven success, which you've seen. We've got a strong reputation. Both Janice and I have been blessed that we've worked at government at all levels, city, county, state, and federal government. All 3 branches of the government. We've worked in the executive, the legislative, and the judicial. Janice previously worked for the United States Senate, and I previously worked for the United States House of Representatives in Washington, D.C. In both our capacities, by the way, one of the things that we worked on was congressional appropriations and federal earmarks, which gives us the background in navigating around the federal side and trying to get some federal dollars to your communities. The benefits of having a firm with the experience is that you get informed of all the current and relevant funding opportunities that can impact your precinct and your county. And then support for county priorities. And as I mentioned before, we distinguish ourselves from other firms. We are not a grant writing firm, and we're not just a lobbying firm. We are a sole source firm, a one-stop shop that can handle not only your funding needs, but also your advocacy needs. And what we've discussed with the judge is that if you all are so inclined to seek our services to help us support your precinct and your county, we'd like to talk a next step about getting onto a future agenda for an action item for an agreement. Our typical agreements look at like a 3-year contract. That's what our standard agreement is. We negotiate a monthly service fee, and then for all funding that we secure on behalf of the county, we put in a 5% administrative fee that's actually worked into the budget of all the applications that we submit on behalf of whether it's the state or the federal government. So at this time, I'd like to open up the floor to any questions you may have.
They're going to have questions for you, Mr. Gonzalez.
I'm ready.
Floor's open. Go ahead.
So you do actually perform the grant writing?
Yes, we do, sir. We have in our firm, both myself and Janice are grant writers, and then our 2 sons that work for us are also certified grant writers, and we've got some contracted grant writers. I will talk this, that Mitchell Gonzalez, who's on our team, Judge, who you met, he's got a 100% batting average. I don't want to jinx him, but he's got a 100% batting average in the 2 years that he's been writing grants.
Brenda, how does this fold into our agreement with Ascend?
Well, I guess it would depend. I mean, if we're looking for other options, then I'd have to go back to our current contract to deem how we would get out of it or open it up for additional proposals and that sort of thing.
Well, it's not an exclusive contract, is it? It's just for them to provide services?
I think it's written into the contract that there's still an opt-out period.
Mr. Gonzalez, what's your monthly service fee?
$5,500 is our standard monthly service fee. And I want to chime in here on the project. So as you saw in my presentation, we pivot and react and also respond to existing priorities of the county. So if you've got another firm, and most of our clients work with GrantWorks or other firms that specialize in a certain project. But if you want us to focus on a specific project, then that's how we would pivot and work around any existing contracts that you've got. So based on the direction of the Commissioner's Court and the county judge is how we prioritize which projects that we will proceed. Additionally, whenever we identify a funding opportunity, we bring it before the court, before the judge, and let you know that this funding opportunity just popped up. This is on our radar screen. We've got experience of seeking it. Perhaps this is a good avenue for you all to pursue. So again, it's not uncommon for us to work with clients who already have existing grant writing services as part of contract services. So we can work around that if needed.
So when
All of these people are paying $5,500 a month.
No, those are customers that we've served. Our existing clients I mentioned before, which are the cities Pleasanton, Pearsall, Charlotte, Castroville, Lytle, and Floresville Economic Development Corporation. So those are our client base that we've done work for in the past.
So then the municipalities, because it sounded like that's all that you just named, are paying that, let's call it retainer fee.
Right. Yes, that's correct. It's the government relations, the government-based clients that are paying that fee, sir.
We have this down as a discuss and take action, but I believe that's not correct. That should just be
Advisory.
advising. Yeah, I think that shouldn't have been put on. That's a little too soon right now for us to examine
Absolutely.
and take action on, so.
So talk to us a little bit about how you get earmarks, because I think, I think there's 2 issues. I mean, obviously for some things that we want to do, an earmark would work, but also I think at the federal level, in the budgeting period, the situation that we face is, TxDOT gets funded primarily by FHA. We get a little trickle-down allowance of basically what amounts to $7,500 a precinct from TxDOT. to help fund our county road maintenance, but we could sure use a lot more. So how would you approach that situation to either get the FHA funding changed or get that money earmarked that it goes, not to Wilson County, but I mean all counties in Texas? I mean,
Sure.
have that challenge.
Well, Commissioner, the way an earmark would work is that we would work with the court and the county judge to identify a project that we can get shovel-ready. Shovel-ready would include if there is a construction project, the engineering and the feasibility studies, we get all that ready. So when we approach a member of Congress, we give them a briefing packet. That briefing packet will include all the things that we've done for the project, including community support, documented letters of support, and following certain steps. As I mentioned before, in a previous career, Janice and I, we worked on the Hill and we actually worked on appropriations. So without letting out trade secrets, it's relationships and trust. And if we develop a packet based on the information that you gave us, we go in good faith saying that this is something that is important to Wilson County. These are the steps that we followed, and this is going to be the impact. This is going to be the impact on the constituents and how it's going to benefit not only the cities that are within the county, but maybe even tying it to a regional area. Because a member of Congress is only allowed to fund 15 congressional projects per annual budget. So we start planting the seed months out, sometimes a year out, to make sure that we're in line for that recommended project. And then it's the advocacy that we conduct when we visit Washington, D.C. during the spring. I'm pretty much camped out in Washington, D.C. for about 5 months. And it's that relationship that I have with the staffers and the committee members and putting forward the information that is relevant to our clients. And then when you have that one-on-one relationship, it's trust. They know, oh, it's Ernie. Ernie's bringing this project for Wilson County or for Floresville Economic Development Corporation. And so we're able to navigate around the bureaucracy. So in short, it's relationships and putting together a shovel-ready project that is quality. And a lot of those projects are going to be tied to infrastructure. So if you got roads that are a major issue, like you mentioned, TxDOT, the funds, or maybe changing the way TxDOT funds, that is also done at the state level through legislation and working with our state legislators during the session to file what's called bracketed bills that would impact your county. So I hope I answered that question as best I could.
Yeah, well, I mean, I realize in working with TxDOT, you're looking at all levels there.
Right.
because-
And to address TxDOT, by the way, we've done a really good job of building a new relationship with the new chief engineer, Lance Simmons. We've actually brought him to several of our communities in the last few months so that he can meet with the local stakeholders. And then having access to the chief engineer, which is the boss of the district engineer, certainly creates an important relationship to emphasize what the local needs are.
Where are y'all based out of?
San Antonio, Texas.
Okay, you have any other questions, Commissioners? I think this is only for discussion. There's no action to be taken. It should have been on there.
Well, Judge, I want to thank you on behalf of Janice and myself for giving us the opportunity, and we hope that we can continue this discussion and look forward to working with you in D.C. in a few weeks.
I want to, before I close on that, thank you for the city allowing me to go along to discuss these opportunities that we are going to have here in Wilson County to bring industry and jobs in here. So I'm grateful for y'all allowing me to tag along.
Thank you very much, Judge.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Appreciate it. Agenda item number 10, we have Commissioner King discuss take action on Wilson County Collections Facility accepting brush at the facility.
So we got shut down by TCEQ for burning at the collection facility or anything like that. So that's pretty much put a hander on us right now. We haven't accepted any contractors' material. We haven't accepted any brush, anything like that. So right now, I talked to TCEQ again last week. Cindy Stafford's been helping me quite a bit in this scenario. They advised us to continue not burning and finding a way to mulch, which we do have a a grant in for a mulching machine currently that myself and Brenda and the ladies worked on, a couple weeks ago. So we're waiting on,
Won't come out until January, just so that everybody knows that.
yeah, so
We don't know yet.
we won't know until January where we're at on that at all. So right now, if we do accept brush, all we can do is stockpile it. With the winter months coming up and it gonna get cold and we won't know about that, we're gonna have a lot of brush that either picking up or, right now we're in burn season, so hopefully everybody's burning it since we're not in a burn ban, burning it safely. But we know that we're gonna wind up getting a lot of brush here soon. So that's something we need to really think about, and we can stockpile it on the place. The actual collection facility stops right past those dumpsters where we set our tires. Everything past that is not considered collections. So we did look at that.
Did TCQ give you any concerns about just stockpiling the brush? I mean, I don't think there's any issues with that, but I could see there could be.
No concerns, no, sir. There's no concerns to stockpile. They advise us just to not burn and chip it or whatever we need to do from there.
Commissioner, how many acres is that area that we're using right now where we were?
I'd have to look at the CAD, but we're right at pretty close to what, 200 acres altogether out there? So I'd have to look at the CAD, but that area where we're
Part
at,
of it is leased out, right?
yes,
100 acres or a little over.
Yes.
100 or something like that.
yes, we do have a lease on
So
it.
we do have 100 acres that's usable to us right now.
Roughly, it's just under. Like I said, I gotta look at the CAD, but yeah.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
well, there are companies that will come out monthly or annually or biannually and grind that
Mulch it up.
brush up. If we do stockpile it and see a need to have it ground up, there are companies that do that.
And with that, the citizens of Wilson County can come out and, if they want some mulch, they can come out and grab some of that too. So
Absolutely.
it'll benefit them as well. So that covers the brush thing. If you are good, we'll start accepting brush and stockpiling it out there.
Do we have a fee schedule for accepting brush?
Fee is still in there, yes, sir.
Okay.
So, but it's no, so for the citizens to better understand that, if you're bringing brush out there, it's brush only. It's not 2x4s or construction material when we're laying brush out, okay? So, got to make that clear, no construction material with your brush going out there, especially if we're grinding it up or mulching it up, okay? Got to make that clear. Or the guys at the facility may turn you around. So don't get upset with them for doing what we're telling them they need to accept.
You can't burn a lot of construction debris you can't burn anyway.
Correct.
So it's shredded, it's got to go in the dumpster.
And that's what my next subject is, as long as we're good on the brush. So y'all good with the brush, accepting that, and if we gotta get a mulching machine, until then, we'll do that? Okay.
Well,
And
in
I'm
the ev-
working, no, I'm sorry, Commissioner, I was just letting you know, and I'm working on some additional avenues, pending the outcome of the grant application that we have for the mulcher, on a recommendation to the court on how we can secure the mulcher with other funds. So depending on, if and how much we're awarded, where we can pull the money to purchase the piece of equipment that we need that would service the entire, all 4 precincts in the county at the facility.
Is that a NACOG grant?
It is.
Yes,
And the one y'all are the mulcher you're looking at is a portable one?
it is. The reason I chased that one down is, so if we do have a natural disaster, we can get out there and take care of the situation right there if we got a bunch of trees and stuff down.
It's a big machine.
On the site, vice
Yeah.
stuck at the collection facility. So that's the reason we looked at that.
Okay.
So what were we saying, Mr.?
I was just going to state that if we don't get our funding and we're looking for potential methods, and one of the methods is contracting out, then we need to review what we're taking the trees in for, because there's going to be an added expense to take and get it mulched. And I think it's an excellent idea, getting a portable one.
And the only reason I did not chase down the mulching machine for the skid steer we have out there, that skid steer will not run one. It's too small. So we'd have to get a larger skidster with the attachment, and that bill's a lot higher than what I asked for as a
Yeah,
portable
we had a pretty
machine.
big ask, and so we're not, we're not confident that we're gonna get the whole thing, but if they give us something, then I'll come back, I'll work with Commissioner King, and then come back to the court requesting funding from other streams, so.
Anything else on the brush side? One thing I've asked the ladies to do as well in Brenda's office is get me a cost effectiveness report. So since we don't have any contractor stuff coming in, that's hurting our revenue as well, okay? So if we allow them to come back in, I'm gonna ask that we bring it on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday only. So the rest of the citizens of the county or outside of our county, which they will get billed extra if you're outside of Wilson County. We want to make sure we have dumpster space for everybody. So with the dumpsters we have, if we have contractors coming in, we're going to be picking up dumpsters a lot more. So what we currently have right now, they only pick up twice a week. Well, if contractors come in, they're going to have to pick up almost on a daily basis because that's how much we get, okay? So what we got to figure out, and I got called away from the office the other day, that's why I did not finish it on Thursday. What we got to figure out is, do we need more dumpsters specifically for contractors? Or what our rate's going to be if they're starting to pick up dumpsters more often on almost a daily basis? Things we got to come up with, okay? We do need to get our revenue back because we are losing money over there, and we do not want that within the county. We don't need the county paying for this thing, okay? So that is something that if y'all want to start working that I'm good with it. If y'all want me to finish this cost analysis, we'll do that as well. So looking for y'all's advice where y'all want me to go on that. And we'll move forward, and I'll get with Brenda's team. If we move forward to accept it, we move forward to accept it, and we start doing what we've got to do. I will say this weekend, my guys are chasing trash all over this county right now, all over my precinct right now. So whether it's contractors or just regular trash.
I would say do your analysis, and then when you got it, because you might need a fee change, you can bring it all back to court at one time.
Totally agree. So that's one last thing with the collection facility. Anybody going to a collection facility, whether a resident or not, we need to make sure that you are taking a bill, a water bill, or something with you for proof of residency. We have too many people outside this county using our facility, and that's where we're mainly losing, okay? San Antonio is very expensive, so they come down here and they use ours. I do have the team over there telling them, make sure you see some type of bill of proof of residency. And I know it's an inconvenience, but it's protecting our county, and that's what we need to do, is protect what we got.
Commissioner, how long will you want us to do, if the court approves us and we do the cost analysis, how long of a period do you want us to track before we come back to the court to recommend a fee change if needed?
Let's go back to, July, because we were accepting it at that time, and then we got shut down in there. So let's go back to July and do that.
And then moving forward, so if I'm understanding correctly, you want us to monitor, let's say the court approves to start accepting brush, you want us to monitor over the next 30 or 60 days how much more we need and how many additional dumpsters we need, and then come back to the court?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So 60 days?
60 days would be perfect.
That subject is not on the agenda. We need to have that on the next agenda. We're way off the subject on number 10 right now. We're discussing more garbage bins, and that's not on here.
Correct, yeah.
Okay, so for that, we'll bring it to the next court for approval.
Perfect.
All right, Commissioners, I'll accept a motion for taking action on the Wilson County Collection Facility, accepting brush at the facility.
I'll make a motion to accept the brush and stockpile it, brush only, at the collection facility.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner King, seconded by Commissioner Paradola. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against? Ayes have it, the motion passes. We move to agenda item number 11. Commissioner John Scott Aiken discuss and take action on setting up public hearing date and time to approve the placement of traffic control devices, signage establishing passing and no passing zone on County Road 417. Commissioner, you have the floor.
County Road 417 is the county road that links State Highway 123 and State Highway 87 together. The road does have signage as far as traffic control for speeds, but it doesn't have any signage to take in and deal with areas that are safe or not safe to pass in. So I had our contracted engineering firm go out there and provide me with their suggestions. And I did email them to you, Judge, but they didn't get into our packet here on exactly where the recommended placement for the signs were. But we're going to follow the recommendations that they have submitted, and I'm asking to take and have a scheduled public hearing to adhere to the law, to be able to have the public discuss at such time whether or not they're for doing these traffic control devices. And I believe the date would be the latter court in December.
We only have one in December, correct?
We have the 27th.
We have two, but it's an off day.
December 11th and
That's,
The 28th
27th?
or,
Would that be Wednesday?
or, yeah,
27th.
27th, yeah.
11th and 27th.
which one do you choose, Commissioner?
I think in order to meet the date, because today's the 13th, it's going to have to fall on the 27th.
Okay.
So December,
Don't we have to give greater than 30 days notification on that, so.
All right, Commissioners, I'll entertain a motion on agenda item number 11.
I'll make a motion that we set a public hearing for 10 a.m. on December 27th to address the placement of traffic control devices on County Road 417.
Second.
Quick tie there.
you give it to Jeff, he's close.
Motion made by Commissioner Akins, seconded by Commissioner Paradola. Is there any other discussion on agenda item number 11? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against, ayes have it, and the motion passes. We move to agenda item number 12. We have Commissioner Martin discuss and take action to adopt the International Fire Code, and I believe we have some subject matter experts here to help us out, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, so we've been talking, I guess, for 3 or 4 months about adopting the fire code, primarily because of some of the solar development that's coming in. This will help ensure that whatever facility that they bring in meets the fire code and would help our ESDs and firefighters knowing that it'll get inspected by them to make sure that, number one, that it is in compliance with the code, and then number two, it helps them get familiar with the facility, and then number three, it helps hopefully getting us all on the same page of the firefighting capabilities. So Chief Thompson, you mind, and Chief Lopez, if you want to come up here with him, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but we've been working with Chief Thompson. The discussion, basically, we really have, I guess, kind of two choices. The 2021 International Fire Code is currently in effect. The 2024 code has been adopted but not published. We can't enforce it until it's published. And so I think at this point, the thought would be to adopt the 2021 code now. And Chief, I'll let you add whatever you feel is appropriate to that.
Well, I'm just here today, thank you, Court, as an advisor on this. District 1 has adopted IFC 2021 in our jurisdiction. We did that for, you have to go back to and understand what the fire code was developed from. Fire code was developed basically from deaths. All of the fire code has emanated from accidents or incidents that could have been prevented by having these measures in place. And so a lot of the fire code deals with safety. So in this particular instance, we're talking about solar energy and battery storage and lithium ion, stuff like that. So it doesn't have a huge impact on personal safety unless it's near somebody's property. But there is more to the fire code that, the court needs to consider, which would be enforcement of it. inspections. It would basically, the fire code would apply to any commercial from here, or from the time you adopt forward. Now, that's being said, you know, theoretically, half of the county is now under IFC 2021, and we are enforcing that. We're a small entity, so we have limited resources to do that, but we've been catching up a lot with the city. The city of Livonia has been very behind, so we've been working with them to get them up to par, and then we'll start to venture out into our county. Our experience is the people that are coming in to build in our county are already well-versed in fire code. They know it, and they typically are very compliant in building to it. But there are those entities that are interested in coming to Wilson County because we do not have fire code. We do not have oversight. And it's much cheaper to build some of these facilities that you're talking about without that oversight. You can cut corners, you can skip this or that. So this fire code would give the county the ability to enforce and inspect. And right now, you really don't have any. If somebody wanted to come and build a apartment complex or a hotel in the county, you have no way to enforce anything or tell them that they need to build to any safety standards for the public that's going to be using that facility. So I was just asked by Tom to kind of brief you guys on what the overall, you know, what adopting fire code really means. It's not, it's going to be work. There's going to be work for the permitting office. There's going to be work on inspectors. So it's just how fast you want to proceed with it and progress with it. So, yeah. Any other questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Yeah, and I want to reinforce what he said. This applies to commercial operations only,
Correct.
not residential. So anyone building a house or anything like that doesn't impact them. This is focused on commercial development.
Yeah, and so the audience knows we're concerned about the battery farms that would come in here and if they were under some kind of enforcement code.
Correct.
Right, and as I understand it, the 2021 does have a chapter that covers that.
That's correct.
The 2024 covers it in more detail and with a few more requirements, right?
Yeah, so the first bullet point on, you know, that we get on what's coming in the new code, the very first bullet point is an expanded section on alternate energy sources. Obviously, it's a very dangerous chemicals and facility, and there have been some very, you know, bad incidents where not being able to be controlled by the local fire departments. And as you know, we're all small. We are rural. We don't have a lot of water. We don't want one of these things going up that doesn't abide by the rules that are set forth by the fire code.
Ms. Yarn, you had a chance to look at both those codes, or did
I
Tom?
haven't seen the code. I mean, I know that there's a consideration of adopting the code. Is there a fire marshal? Do we have a fire marshal?
We don't. We're working on that right now.
Normally, the fire marshal, if there is no code, would be responsible for making sure that these provisions are
Yep. So-
adhered to. But if there's no fire marshal, that's part of why there's no enforcement also.
So Texas Commission on Fire Protection, I checked with them, and this is how we enforce our code. We don't have a fire marshal either. But the fire code, through order of the authority having jurisdiction, can authorize anyone that is a Texas Commission on Fire Protection fire inspector to enforce the code.
My understanding, Chief, we have several qualified for that position here in this county, right?
Wilson County District 1 has 4.
Okay.
We're working on a 5th and a 6th.
Chief, you have it?
We only have one.
Okay. But we do have them.
Yes, sir.
That's a good thing. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Any questions for Chief?
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Appreciate it. All right. I'll entertain motion for agenda item number 12.
And I guess, Chief, just to confirm, it's your recommendation that we adopt the 2021 code today?
I think that a countywide code is much better than just a district having a code. Half of the county and the other half is not. I think a county, so if the court, just so you're aware, if the court does adopt fire code, then District 1 will rescind our fire code, and we will work with the county as a countywide fire code. provide to the cities, obviously.
Chief Lopez, any concerns there?
No, no concerns for us, you know, as newly appointed and kind of transitioning through everything. I've been looking through our files to see what a code we adopted. But in speaking with our training officer, who is a fire inspector, code inspector with us, we agree as well with the countywide adoption of the International Fire Code.
Okay.
Yeah, and I guess I can add to that. I talked to Chief Strelczyk last week also. I guess he wasn't able to make it today, but District 5 is basically also in agreement.
Okay.
I think this is very important as we get more of these solar farms, be it battery storage or whatever, that come to us, to have this protection in place for the county.
So I'll make a motion to adopt the 2021 International Fire Code.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, seconded by Commissioner Aiken. Is there any other further discussion on agenda item number 12? Hear none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against? Ayes have it, and the motion passes. Thank you, gentlemen, appreciate it. Agenda item number 13, we have Ms. Brenda Trevino, our county auditor, and we'll go with 13A, discuss possible action on accepting a grant award from the Office of the Governor for grant number 330996, Victims of Crime Formula Grant in the amount of $65,975.65 for the county attorney's office.
Judge, would you like me, for the sake of time, to read the descriptions of A through D and then vote all at once, or do you want me to go individually?
Let me ask the commissioners, you all have a problem with that?
Fine.
Okay, all right, we'll go with A through D.
Okay. So item A is the Victims of Crime Formula Grant in the amount of $65,975.65. This is to cover 100% of the salary of our Victims Assistance Coordinator in the County Attorney's Office, Ms. Christina Macias. And it is to cover 100% of her salary, and then along with fringe benefits as well. This is for a grant period of October 1, 2023 to September 30th, 2024. Item B is also an award from the Office of the Governor for Grant 4385202, which is Operation Lone Star, that is managed through the County Sheriff's Department. This amount awarded to Wilson County is $244,699.61. This is for September 1, 2023 through August 31st, 2024. These funds cover 100% of 2 dedicated deputies for Operation Lone Star, in the amount of about $192,000, in addition to paying for overtime for those 2 deputies, as well as non-grant related deputies in the Sheriff's Department who cover any type of services for Operation Lone Star. And so, again, that total amount awarded to Wilson County is $244,699.61. Item C is accepting a grant award awarded to Wilson County, also from the Office of the Governor, for grant number 301-5408, and this one is for Violence Against Women Formula Grant. This one is for September 1st through 2023 through August 31st, 2024, also for the County Attorney's Office. And this one is to cover our 2 partial salaries of our dedicated prosecutor in the attorney's office, as well as the certified peace officer and investigator Joshua Olivares. This amount is for $114,663.89. And we do have cash matching, which is also, it's already budgeted in the county attorney SB 22 grants. So currently it's not any funding from the general fund. Item number D is an award, a grant awarded to Wilson County from the Office of Governor for grant number 483021. This is the Rifle Resistant Body Armor Grant. This is in the amount of $43,036.40 for the Sheriff's Department. And this is to fund 80 Buffalo Armory rifle vests. Sheriff, I think I got that right. It's for 40 front and 40 back rifle plates. And we'll be purchasing these for the Sheriff's Department. There is no matching funds. It's 100% funded as well. And so I'm just asking the court for approval to accept the awards, and so we can move forward with these.
I get for Commissioner Aiken and King, items A and C are those we do every year. That's we call the Boca and Bawa grants.
That is correct. Item A and C, those are through ACOG. We apply for them every year. Now, we have been, I believe we are in our 6th year of funding for those two. VAWA and VOCA are the short terminology for those. We do plan to self-fund those eventually because they are provide outstanding services for Wilson County. But fortunately for us, we continue to apply every year, and every year we get awarded at some point. We thought we were going to get decreased funding this year, and we actually received everything that we asked for. So every year it's a good sign. So, but we are prepared in the event that they choose not to fund it 100% in the future. Those applications come out in December. We start applying for them in December. April is the notification to begin the next fiscal year in September. So it's an ongoing cycle.
All right, Commissioners, I'll entertain a motion on agenda item number 13A through D.
I'll make a motion to accept the grant awards for the Office of the Governor for grant numbers 330996, 4385202, 3015408, and 483021.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, seconded by Commissioner King. Is there any other discussion on agenda items 13A, B, C, or D? Hear none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against? Ayes have it, the motion passes. Thank you, ma'am. All right, you're going to have to stay back up there again. So agenda item number 14, again, we have Ms. Trevino, our county auditor, discuss and possible action on approving Leal and Carter PC for the fiscal year 22-23 external audit.
Yes, Judge and Commissioners, I have an engagement letter. I've done some research in acquiring a new audit firm for our external audit for fiscal year ending 2023. Leal and Carter, and I believe Mr. Carter's here present, so I'll let him speak on behalf of his firm. But just to let you know, in the course of my research, this is a firm that 2 other counties within our district utilize. Frio County and now Atascosa County use Leal and Carter. They have nothing but positive things to say about the firm. So at this time, I'd like to introduce Robert Carter to come and speak on behalf of the firm.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners. My name is Robert Carter. I'm the audit manager with Leal and Carter. We've been in business for over 50 years. I myself have been performing local government audits for over 30 years. As Brenda mentioned, I'm currently the auditor for Atascosa and Frio County. I've audited LaSalle, Dimmitt, Zavala, and Maverick County in the past. I understand you'll have had a problem with the timeliness of your audit, so as I mentioned to Brenda, we'll get in here right in January, making sure that we meet your deadline.
All right, thank you, Ms. Carter.
Sure.
So this is a service that we do have budgeted in the new fiscal year budget. The fee for the external audit is not to exceed somewhere around $70,000. $62,000 is up to $62,000 would be for the external audit, plus an additional fee for our single audit, which is required by the state because of our federal grants, which is also a separate audit that the firm would complete. At this time, we don't know what that cost is, but we know that the total, including the single audit, should not exceed $70,000 because that is what we currently have budgeted. So I'm seeking the court's approval to approve the engagement of Lee Allen Carter.
Commissioners, I'll entertain a motion on agenda item number 14.
I'll make a motion to approve Lee Allen Carter, PC, to perform the FY 22-23 external audit for a cost not to exceed $70,000.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, seconded by Commissioner Paradola. Is there any other discussion on agenda item 14?
There won't be a problem with the time frame on sending the cancellation notice to you.
They are already aware, yeah. And it's only a yearly agreement with them,
That's
so
what I
they're
thought
fine.
it was an annual agreement, but
Yes. Yeah, and the Armstrong and Vaughn has already committed to working with Mr. Carter for the transition.
Yeah, they're obligated to basically give us over their work papers.
Okay. Any other discussion, Commissioners? Question? All right, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against? Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. And I'll have you, yeah, Judge, I'll have the contract for you to sign and
I
then,
had one in my book. Do you
okay.
want me to use this one or, no?
No, I'll give you the full one.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, we'll sign them right after court.
thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Robert.
We move to agenda item number 15.
Me.
Discuss and possible action on relocating budgeted funds for JP1 office, Judge Shaw.
Yes, so JP1, Judge Jared Shaw, has requested requested funds to be reallocated in his budget, not added. This is so that he can hire seasonal temporary staff. He actually has had someone come in and cover phones for him while his two clerks go to conference, which brought this to our attention. And so I informed him that he did not budget for seasonal temporary help and asked him to kind of look at his budget and see where he wanted to reallocate some funds, to which he responded that he is requesting that we move a total of $4,000, $2,000 from his conference line item, $500 from his telephone line item, and $1,500 from his office equipment furniture line item, and add that $4,000 to a seasonal temporary line item. So it's just a line item transfer. I'm calling it a budget amendment because I wanted to bring it to your attention that we are going to be moving money from those budgeted line items to a seasonal temporary staff. When he and I met during budget season and during our budget meeting, he did not request this money at that time, and then discovered that he was going to be needing some office assistant while both of his clerks were out at conference. This is something new. The prior office did not have that, so that's what the request is.
Didn't have it in the past because they didn't send both of them to the conference evidently.
I
Somebody always stayed.
believe that is the reason,
I think he
Commissioner.
has one more personnel than that office had before, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Do they both have to go to the conference at the same time?
That was my question, but that is not, I don't know.
Well,
Yeah, that's what I thought. They've always had two in that office, so we did not add an additional staff. They've always had two in that office prior to Judge Shaw. And over the last 5 years, we've never had a seasonal temporary line. If we did, for the other JPs, it was in the range of between $1,000 to $2,000 because if someone called in sick, similar to what the judge has. If the judge's assistant, needs a day off or calls in sick, then we have, would call in somebody to come and cover that. But this seems to, if I'm not mistaken, this through payroll. It had been 2 pay periods in a row that this happened, and so I needed to bring it to the court's attention so that we can reallocate funds because there wasn't any money budgeted for that salary of the temporary seasonal.
And kind of like our ongoing education, sometimes they don't have that same class twice a year and everybody has to go. We've all been subject to that, so.
And I'm not sure, I'm sure, I personally, and maybe I don't know what kind of training and conferences it is that those clerks, JP clerks attend, and I don't know if you're aware, Judge.
Right now, it's pretty much getting to be standard that your clerks must attend some of these classes or the courses that they offer. It's well needed for our clerks to stay up with the time and with how the laws can change.
So again, it is not changing the bottom line of the overall county budget, but I did wanted to bring it to your attention and request an approval so that I can get signature and make that change in the budget.
Okay, Commissioners, I'll entertain a motion on agenda number 15.
I'll make a motion that we allow the county auditor to reallocate budget funding for JP1 office.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Paradola, second by Commissioner Martin regarding agenda item number 15. We have any other discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against? Motion passes. Thank you. Commissioners, I'd like to suspend the rule, and the motion to suspend the rule so we can bring Ms. Lewis up from 21 to now. I know she's got a busy schedule. If you don't mind, would you want to come up? Let me get a motion on the floor here first.
I'll make a motion to suspend the rules.
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, seconded by Commissioner King to suspend the rules to move agenda item number 21 to the present agenda number now. All right, Ms. Lewis, welcome, and I know you got some good news, don't you?
Thank you. Yes. So the last time I was before you guys, we were talking about possibly getting some funding from the governor's office to cover part of the medical examiner's office. If you have not heard, the governor's office is covering $10.8 million, which is the absolute full amount, should cover the building, all of the equipment needed for the medical examiner's office. That will cover our entire district. So I come before you, and technically under the grant, I am the administrator of it, and I have to basically undergo the construction and build and all that kind of stuff. It's not how I want to do it. So my intention is to have the interlocal that you guys signed off on and agreed to before included two representatives from Wilson County being part of that, the board that will manage the operations of the medical examiner's office. And my intention is for that board to also help to undergo this undertaking of getting bids for the architect and for the contractor and things like that. So I'm hoping that two of you are willing to step up to do that. But I have edited the interlocal agreement to also add a couple more players into the board because we do have a consulting medical examiner who suggested that because this is a regional medical examiner's office, there is not another one in the state of Texas. So I may be coming to you a couple times to redo things as we start thinking things through. And but this would include adding a fire and EMS chief, fire and or EMS. My office, I didn't put myself on the original interlocal, which is a problem since I'm the person who's running the grant. But then also adding the sheriff as a sheriff from either Wilson or Atascosa on this board as well. So those were suggestions from our consulting medical examiner. I think those are good suggestions at this point in the game. Just so you are aware, moving forward, my hope is whoever you select your two designees to be will be the one who kind of keeps commissioners abreast. But I have also reached out to Medina County because if you remember that operating budget, and it's pretty hefty. For the 5 counties. And so I've reached out to Medina County to see if they are willing to be a part of our regional ME's office, which will obviously defray some of those operating costs whenever we do start to incur those. Those would all be divided out pro rata based on population, and Medina is about the same as Wilson. So that would take away some of those operating costs. However, I'm going to tell you up front, with the governor's office as excited as they are and as much as they realize how badly we need this medical examiner's office, next year my intention is to ask for the full operating budget through the same grant stream. So I didn't want to do that this year because we know it'll take a year to build this thing. So I'd be asking for money we wouldn't be spending. So does that make sense? So I brought copies of the old agreement that was already signed and the new. Do you mind if I come forward?
Sure, come on over.
The new is the second one, I believe.
an extra one right here, Audrey. One down to Evelyn. down there.
Onto this operating board. So if you look at, it should be highlighted, is the one with the highlight is where the change is. And so the number of board members went from, basically from 7 to 9. And we're intentionally trying to keep it an odd number because everything that's voted on needs to be by majority.
Okay. That's it.
Do you have it?
The original one, I just don't see the highlighted one, but that's good.
You don't,
I'm looking at
I've
it.
got more. You want, no, you need to see it. Did I give you 2 of the same?
I don't know, which one did I get, Evelyn, which one did I give you? Does it have the
has the
highlighted one?
highlights.
Okay, I'll grab one from her. Sorry. No, I'm good, thank you.
I'm sorry, I didn't give you one, Evelyn. Sorry. So it's really a very minor change. It's just a change to the composition of the board. It doesn't change the pro rata distribution or anything like that. Now, if Medina decides to come on board, that of course will lower the pro rata that Wilson County would have to pay. So that would come back to you guys, and that amount would be lower, so. So this is basically trying to get the ball rolling. And the reason that I kind of want to, the holidays are coming up, and so things need to start happening fast because this funding stream's technically started September 1st. So we need to get bids out, proposals for bids out as soon as possible. So my suggestion is try to come up with who you would like to be, who's, maybe more of, right now, for the board purposes, it's, if any of you have construction background, it would be great for you to be on this board because you can bring some insight. But, it is going to be an extra undertaking, and we all have full-time jobs outside of this. So it's definitely something that will require extra work on everyone's part.
Judge, I guess point of order, this is only a presentation today.
Right.
So, and Ms. Lewis, I'll be happy to be on the board. I can certainly help with the construction aspect.
Excellent.
I'll serve as well.
Okay.
So we can discuss that, put it on the
Yeah,
agenda
so
for the next.
I guess the next,
We'll
for the next court, we would need to approve the ILA and appoint the two, well, let's see, but this says Wilson County needs 4, right?
No, Wilson is 2.
Okay. But it says one of the 4 members from Atascosa and Wilson shall be an elected sheriff.
Because it's 2 from Atascosa and 2 from Wilson.
Still 2 and 2, okay.
Yes, so 4 between those 2 counties.
I don't think the sheriff would object to having his counterpart over
I
there.
have asked Sheriff Soward simply because he recently had the jail expansion, and so he has had to deal with some government procurement and contracts and things like that. He is willing to do that. So that's one less thing for Sheriff Stewart's plate at the moment. But, so he has said he's willing to do that. But, yeah, if y'all are willing to let me know who would be willing to be on that board, because I do have, what I want to do before we even secure or request bids for securing an architect is tour a medical examiner's office, because I assume that nobody on this board, other than me and maybe a couple that have been in law enforcement, have ever been to a medical examiner's office and understand kind of the inner workings of, and I don't understand all the inner workings of it either, so.
Sometimes you don't want to, right?
Yeah,
Spent more time than I want to in a medical examiner's office.
definitely, I understand that.
Just wanted to know for my purposes, so all the bid processing, everything is going to go through your office. You're going to handle all of that, so we won't have to do anything from Wilson County's standpoint.
That's correct. Yes, there's nothing, at this point, really, I would, just out of courtesy, because y'all will be part of the operations of the medical examiner's office, would like them involved early on in the building stages. So, yeah, but all of the grant is administered through the financial is through Atascosa County, and my office is the authorized agent, so. So good for you.
Ms.
Go ahead.
Lewis, I want to thank you. I didn't think this was going to happen this quick. We talked about it right at the very beginning. I thought it would be 2-3 years from now. When you called and told me this or texted me, I thought this is unreal. So and Eladia too for writing the grant, so thank you. So I got to ask you, I was looking at Facebook this weekend. How fast were you going in that race?
I
Was
was.
it a NASCAR car and she was
Yes,
moving?
I drove at Texas Motor Speedway this weekend. So they don't have a speedometer in those cars.
Well, they don't need them.
So I don't know how fast I was going, but I can gauge it. Well, I'm not gonna confess to any speeding I may have done, but in this district, yeah. But I-35 down to Catula is a straight shot, let's just put it that way. But it was pretty fast. It was, yeah. The thunder, the roar of that engine's pretty fun,
All right.
so,
One for the bucket list.
yes. Okay,
All right, thank you, ma'am.
now, are y'all up, when is y'all's next meeting, December 11th?
11,
November 28th, right?
December.
Do y'all don't have it as a voting agenda item, you just
Another
have it
one
as an
that's the
update?
last,
Presentation, yeah.
Okay,
third Monday.
It'll be, yeah, the
27th, November 27th.
okay.
Okay.
But since
Okay.
next week is Thanksgiving and a short week, I guess, what's your deadline for next week, I guess? Any
The
earlier?
21st would be the deadline.
I didn't bring my calendar.
It's going to be off Thursday and Friday.
You don't need it Tuesday? Tuesday, 21st, everything shall be turned in. So we can get on the agenda, please.
Okay. And I may not be able to present, you've got everything in front of you now, so I may not be able to present that, the next one, because I will be in LaSalle County on that day.
Okay.
So,
If y'all have questions, maybe before, I'll be happy to reach out to her and
Okay.
get any questions you have. I have one on this exhibit.
yes.
Wilson County's going to take 35.92% of any costs that would not be covered by the grant, or do you anticipate that there will be other construction costs? No?
That really is the operation cost. So that has to get us through the build and into operations, meaning we get everyone hired and things like that. So, and, like I said, there's a possibility, I'll be presenting it to Commissioners Court Medina. We may be changing that, and it may cost the county, each of the counties less if they decide to take part in it as well. So,
If anyone has questions, maybe after today, I'll be happy to get the answers from her for the next.
I'm going to come by and visit with you for a little bit.
okay. Thank y'all very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Ms. Lewis.
Appreciate y'all's commitment.
Thank you.
All right. We will return back to regular agenda item number 16. We have Sheriff Stewart for his progress report.
I have nothing today. Judge, unless y'all have any questions.
Do you have any questions, Sheriff Stewart? Okay. We moved to agenda item number 17. We have Lou Serato, interim permitting and development director. We'll start with 17A, utility permit. Number 1, permit 752 SS Water, Precinct 4, County Road 401, review and approve. All right, ma'am.
Good morning. First agenda item from the Permanent Development Department, it's a proposed bore for a 1-inch service line in a 2-inch PVC casing, 36 inches deep under the bar ditch of County Road 401. So it's in precinct number 4. I believe I've sent you the information on it.
You did, and I expected the site, it's okay to go forward.
Okay, this line is going to be for a meter that's going to service a 5-acre tract that's located on 9047 County Road 401. So, and I have the paperwork here.
All right, Commissioners, regarding agenda item 17A1, I entertain a motion.
Make a motion that we accept permit 752 from SS Water Supply Corporation for boring underneath County Road 401. Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Aiken, seconded by Commissioner Paradola. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, a call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against? Ayes have it, and the motion passes. We move down to 17B, pipeline crossing permit 1. Since they're all in the same precinct, we're going to vote on that.
Yes,
all those.
can you-
Permit 152 Warwick Artemis, County Road 204. Permit 153 Warwick Artemis, County Road 204. And permit 154 Warwick Artemis, County Road 204.
Yes, we have been going back and forth for almost 2 weeks with this company. This will be a proposed single trench for 3 lines on County Road 204 to install 2 of the 4-inch steel gas pipelines and 1 8-inch poly water pipeline. And we've all been in communication with Commissioner King about the proposed trench and how they will be responsible for fixing the road afterwards.
So, yeah, I've been out there, I've looked at it, I've talked to, her name right now,
Lori Miller.
Miss Miller, on the phone via email and stuff like that. So they're going to trench a portion of it right in front of their well, and then they will bore the second portion of it. So,
All right, agenda item 17B, 1, 2, and 3. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion for permit 152, 153, and 154 for Warwick to trench and bore under County Road 204.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner King, seconded by Commissioner Martin. Is there any other discussion regarding 17B, 1, 2, or 3? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against? Motion passes. We move to 17C, non-standard plat variances, County Road 343, 380, Terry Taylor, and County Road 360. Since they're all in precinct 3, we'll just do one. County Road 360, 261, precinct 3, Nicole Powell.
Okay, so we'll go over the Taylor variance first. Mr. Lyons, Mr. David Lyons, who's a friend and a representative of the family, he was at our review committee. The Taylors own 16.265 acres and would like to sell a 1 acre for financial relief. The Taylors already have a potential buyer, and they're informed of the utilities, and it's their responsibility to get all that situated after the fact. This was given a favorable recommendation from the review committee. The other one is for Ms. Nicole Powell. She owns 8.3 acres of land on County Road 360 and is trying to sell 5.03 acres of it, and intends on keeping the 3.25 with the existing home and structures at the top of the property. Their board also gave a favorable review recommendation on this variance as well.
All right, Commissioners, regarding precinct 3, I'll entertain a motion on 17C, non-standard plats variances.
I'll make a
On-
motion.
All right, go.
Motion approving the non-standard plat variances on County Road 343, 380 for Terry Taylor, and County Road 360, 261 for Nicole Powell.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Perdola, seconded by Commissioner Martin. Is there any other discussion on 17C, 1 and 2? Hearing none, call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it, the motion passes. We move now to the final one on 17D, RV Park Lodge and Development, JRG, discuss and take action.
This is for the approval of the IDP submitted by Intrepid for mobile home park called JRG on Highway 87. I have the IDP here in front of me. It'll be 12.95 acres and is located off of 87. This was giving a favorable recommendation by the review committee as well. And we do have a representative here from Intrepid, Mr. Mason Kroll, if anybody has any questions.
Commissioners, on 17D, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we accept and approve the RV Park and Lodging Development for JRG.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Perdola, second by Commissioner King. We have any other discussion on 17D? Hearing none, a call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against? The ayes have it, the motion passes. We now move to agenda item number 18, the Genevieve Martinez, discuss take action on Commissioner Court meetings. Sorry.
The minutes have been reviewed by the county judge and the county attorney's office.
Commissioners, I'll entertain a motion on agenda on item number 18, accepting the Commissioners Court meetings minutes.
If no one has any questions on the minutes, I'll make a motion that we accept and approve the prior county court
Second.
minutes.
All right, before I get out of sequence, let me write that down. Hold on. Motion made by Commissioner Paradola, seconded by Commissioner King regarding agenda item number 18. I hear no discussion. Call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against? Ayes have it, the motion passes. We move to agenda item number 19, but I believe Ms. Bodford's not going to be able to be here with us today. Is there somebody going to do a report for her? Are we good?
Do you have Jalen's?
You have Jay Lynn's report? Okay. She's out. Okay, yeah, she has an emergency. So we'll roll that to the next one. Okay, agenda item number 20, we have Ms. Trevino again, discuss, take action on county bills.
Yes. I have bills totaling $378,102.35.
Any lines or names for signature?
And just for your reference, November 15th is the cutoff for fiscal year '23. So I'll be sending out an email, but that'll be any invoices still for last fiscal year, November 15th will be the last date to
We don't need to
review.
review it. Give me a pen. I'm sorry, Brenda.
You'll see an adjustment on the back, a handwritten adjustment, that was after Commissioner Perdola, sent us a correction. We had already had the report printed, so we just made a change on the back end instead of reprinting them all over.
And I apologize for that, but I was waiting on a confirmation from Mr. Cruz on that. I happened to catch that they billed me for something that I didn't get.
So it was a couple $100 that,
300 and something bucks. 90 gallons of non-ethanol fuel that I didn't get.
okay. Well, she emailed this and I looked at it before just to see the bills.
I didn't get it here from Mr. Cruz till Friday, so this is all done at that time.
I'll make a motion to approve the bills in the amount of $378,102.35.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, seconded by Commissioner King. Where was that paperwork right here? Regarding agenda item number 20. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, call for the vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those against? Ayes have it, motion passes. We've done 21. We'll go to agenda item number 22, Commissioner King, 1 PM presentation by Evan Horn with the Samsung Best for the Marcelina project presentation.
At 1 p.m.
1 p.m.
1 PM, we're going to, okay, so we're going to do that at 1 PM.
Here?
Here, we're going to skip over and right now go, the Commissioners Court reserves the right to go into executive session pursuant to Section 55(1.071) through Section 55(1.076) of the Texas Government Code. We will temporarily recess till 1, but go into executive, come back out. We're going to discuss personnel issues and then come back out. We're taking no action, so let's recess to the courtroom. Sorry?
I make a motion to go into executive session.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, seconded by Commissioner King. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those against? Motion passes. Do you need this one right now? Okay, all right. No.
Judge.
They're gonna be back to the courthouse.
all of it.